David Bowie, born David Robert Jones in 1947, entered the world in Brixton, London. Even as a young boy, Bowie displayed a keen interest in music. He was drawn to the sounds of jazz, blues, and early rock and roll. Bowie's artistic inclinations extended beyond music. He explored art, design, and theater. By his teenage years, Bowie was already performing in local bands, honing his stage presence and musical skills. The seeds of his creative genius were sown in these formative years. The late 1960s marked a turning point for David Jones. He adopted the stage name David Bowie, inspired by the American frontiersman Jim Bowie. In 1969, Bowie released Space Oddity, a song that would catapult him to fame. The song's release coincided with the Apollo 11 moon landing, capturing the zeitgeist of space exploration. Bowie's haunting vocals and the song's innovative use of synthesizers created an otherworldly atmosphere. Space Oddity introduced the world to Major Tom, a fictional astronaut who becomes lost in space. The success of Space Oddity established Bowie as a rising star in the music world. This early success paved the way for Bowie's groundbreaking work in the following decade. The 1970s witnessed the rise of glam rock, and David Bowie became one of its most iconic figures. In 1972, he unveiled his alter ego, Ziggy Stardust, a flamboyant and androgynous rock star from outer space. The album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, became a critical and commercial success. Songs like Starman and Suffragette City became anthems for a generation. With Ziggy Stardust, Bowie challenged gender norms and embraced theatricality in a way that was unprecedented in popular music. However, the intensity of the Ziggy Stardust persona took its toll on Bowie. In a dramatic move, he retired the character in 1973, demonstrating his constant need for reinvention. Following the retirement of Ziggy Stardust, Bowie entered a period of creative exploration. He delved into soul and funk music, releasing the album Young Americans in 1975. Seeking a change of pace, Bowie relocated to Berlin in the late 1970s. He collaborated with Brian Eno and Iggy Pop, producing a trilogy of albums known as his Berlin Trilogy. The Berlin Trilogy albums, Low, 1977, Heroes, 1977, and Lodger, 1979, were experimental and atmospheric. Though not as commercially successful as his previous work, the Berlin Trilogy is considered by many critics to be his most innovative and influential work. During this time, Bowie adopted the persona of the Thin White Duke, reflecting his exploration of darker, more introspective themes. As the 1980s dawned, David Bowie continued to evolve, pushing the boundaries of music and performance. He released the albums Scary Monsters and Super Creeps in 1980, which featured the hit single Ashes to Ashes. In 1983, Bowie achieved mainstream success with the album Let's Dance. The album featured several hit singles, including the title track, China Girl, and Modern Love. Let's Dance showcased Bowie's ability to craft commercially appealing music without sacrificing his artistic integrity. Bowie's musical experimentation continued throughout the 1980s. He collaborated with Queen on the hits Single Under Pressure, and released albums like Tonight in 1984 and Never Let Me Down in 1987. Despite some critical setbacks, Bowie remained a cultural force. He continued to tour extensively, captivating audiences with his energetic performances and elaborate stage shows. Bowie's influence on fashion, music, and art continued to grow, solidifying his status as a true icon. David Bowie's impact on fashion is undeniable. He understood the power of image and used it as an extension of his music and persona. From the androgynous glamour of Ziggy Stardust to the sharp tailoring of the Thin White Duke, Bowie's style choices were bold, unconventional, and highly influential. Bowie's collaboration with designer Kanzai Yamamoto during the Ziggy Stardust era resulted in some of the most iconic stage costumes in music history. Yamamoto's designs were outrageous and futuristic, featuring jumpsuits, platform boots, and bold makeup. Bowie's fearless embrace of these designs challenged gender norms and inspired countless designers and music artists. Even beyond his stage persona, Bowie's personal style was impeccable. He effortlessly blended classic tailoring with vintage finds and avant-garde pieces. Bowie's legacy in the world of fashion is as enduring as his music. David Bowie's artistic spirit extended far beyond music. He was a true Renaissance man, with interests in acting, painting, mime, and dance. Bowie's forays into these art forms enriched his music and performances, showcasing his multifaceted talent. He starred in the cult classic film The Man Who Fell to Earth in 1976, playing an alien who comes to Earth in search of water for his dying planet. His other notable film roles include The Hunger in 1983, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence in 1983, and Labyrinth in 1986. Bowie's paintings, while lesser known than his music and acting, showcase his unique artistic vision. His abstract expressionist works were often vibrant and gestural, reflecting his interest in color, movement, and emotional expression. Bowie's art collection, which included works by modern masters, further demonstrated his deep appreciation for the visual arts. Bowie's willingness to experiment and cross artistic boundaries set him apart as a true innovator. For Bowie, music, fashion, acting, and visual art were all expressions of the same creative impulse. David Bowie was one of the first musicians to recognize the potential of music videos as an art form. He embraced the medium early on, creating visually striking and often surreal videos that complemented his music perfectly. The 1980 music video for Ashes to Ashes is considered a landmark achievement in music video history. Directed by David Mallet, the video featured innovative special effects, striking imagery, and Bowie's signature blend of fashion and performance. Bowie's subsequent music videos continued to push boundaries. He collaborated with visionary directors like Jim Henson and Tim Pope. Bowie's influence on the aesthetics and storytelling of music videos is undeniable. He helped elevate the medium from a promotional tool to an art form in its own right. David Bowie's magnetic presence and androgynous beauty naturally translated to the big screen. Though primarily known for his music, Bowie graced the world of cinema with memorable and often unconventional roles. His breakout role in Nicholas Roeg's The Man Who Fell to Earth in 1976 solidified his acting talent. Playing Thomas Jerome Newton, an alien disguised as a human, Bowie brought an ethereal quality and a sense of profound isolation to the character. Bowie wasn't afraid to take on challenging and diverse roles. He portrayed a vampire alongside Catherine Deneuve in Tony Scott's stylish horror film The Hunger in 1983. He delivered a powerful performance as a prisoner of war in Nagisa Oshima's Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence also in 1983. With his larger-than-life presence and captivating performances, Bowie left an unforgettable mark on the world of film. In the final years of his life, David Bowie kept his battle with cancer private. He continued to create, releasing his final album Black Star on January 8, 2016, just 2 days before his death. The album, a fitting final statement from an artist who constantly challenged conventions, was a masterpiece of jazz-infused art rock. Black Star was met with critical acclaim, praised for its complex arrangements, experimental soundscapes, and Bowie's haunting vocals. The album's lyrics and music videos were full of symbolism, hinting at mortality and the afterlife. Bowie's death just days after the album's release cast a poignant light on the work, revealing it as a carefully orchestrated farewell. The album's title track, a nearly 10-minute epic, became Bowie's final musical testament. Black Star served as a reminder that even in the face of death, Bowie's creativity and artistic spirit remained undimmed. Bowie's death sent shockwaves through the world, with tributes pouring in from fellow musicians, actors, artists, and fans worldwide. David Bowie's legacy is vast and multifaceted. He was a musical innovator, a fashion icon, a film star, and a cultural force. His impact on music, fashion, art, and popular culture is immeasurable. Bowie's music transcended genres, blending rock, pop, soul, funk, electronic music, and experimental sounds. He constantly pushed creative boundaries, challenging conventions and defying categorization. His fearless experimentation and willingness to embrace the new and the unconventional continue to inspire musicians today. His androgynous style, his fearless embrace of color and texture, and his use of fashion as a form of self-expression continue to influence designers and fashion enthusiasts today. Bowie's impact on popular culture extends beyond his music and fashion. He was a master of reinvention, constantly evolving his persona and challenging the status quo. David Bowie's legacy is one of creativity, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of self-expression, ensuring that his star will continue to shine brightly for years to come.